Unspoiled Network podcast.
This is Unspoiled, covering The Hunger Games, Book 2, Catching Fire, Chapters 13, 14, and 15. In these chapters, we are getting ready to go back into the arena, kiddos. All of the preparations are being made. Our friends are in costume, and we have a new AVOX on staff. Welcome to Unspoiled.
Are you coming to the tree? They strung up a man, they say, who murdered 3. Strange things did happen here, no stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree. Are you coming to the tree where dead men called out for his love to flee? Strange things did happen here, no stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree.
Welcome to the show, everyone. I am Natasha.
I'm RoShawn.
So, we just recorded on the previous chapters last night. Very, very recently.
It is a very swift comeuppance for your girl. I could not have been more wrong about everything.
Yeah, you really thought.
I thought we were going to drag out the months I kept banging on about how much time there was. She's not going to wake up tomorrow and it's time to get on the train. And she didn't. But what I did not expect was that months were going to pass in a page.
Yeah.
So it felt like we woke up the next day and this bitch was on a train.
Yeah, it really did. Like, I always forget, because of how quickly that goes by, that she finds out what the quell is going to be so far in advance. Because it's just, you know.
When I said, it's months from now, you were like, oh, yeah, that's right. There's months. Because clearly, when you're reading it, it does not feel like months. So I can see why. I mean, I was in my gut. It did not feel like we were going to have a games. But here we are, and it's really fucking looking like we're going to have a goddamn game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you guys, I don't want it.
So why not? Just because it's just too grim? Like,
it's very fucking grim. It's very, very grim.
Do you think
and
that
also,
everybody makes it out this time?
I mean, I had like all kinds of wild theories, about the things that I was curious about seeing. I was like, well, because again, I really thought we were going to have a lot more time and there was going to be a lot more room to breathe before we actually were, back in the Capitol in our chariots. So I expected that we were going to watch this news roll out across the country and see these reactions to it. And, maybe I would start to see people being like, yeah, no, we're not here for this. And that maybe it would spark something. But it just goes so quick. And if that is a thing that happened, we don't know about it. She does mention, it seems like some people are not as interested in this.
Yeah.
And they don't really want it. We get like some tidbits about how it went in other districts. One of the elder victors ends up volunteering because clearly they made a decision that this person was in their 80s. So they were ready to die.
Yeah.
And to spare the younger person. But I don't want it because it's so barbaric and it just feels deeply unfair.
Yeah. It is.
And when her reaction to this news is, yeah, this is right. This is what you do.
Yeah. So she just basically goes into fight or flight mode. and runs out of the house without really knowing where she's going, intends to go to the woods once she collects herself enough to figure it out. But immediately that is, no longer an option because of the electricity. And eventually she's just in the basement. And this whole, I ball up the front of my shirt, stuff it into my mouth, and begin to scream. How long this continues, I don't know, but when I stop, my voice is almost gone.
Yeah, she's in one of the empty houses too.
Right, their cellar. That's the one.
Yeah. And we find out later that her hand is all ripped to shreds because she has just smashed through a window to get inside this house. And she doesn't have any memory of doing that.
Yeah.
Because that's how fucking in shock she is. And she's out in the cold and the snow and the wet. She's not dressed for any of it. And she's still out here running around like a mad person. Again, the shock that she is in. It's like she's completely out of her mind. And in a way she kind of is. It is awful.
Yeah.
Just awful.
Yeah. And she is sitting there thinking things over when she's able to calm down a little bit. They have sheeting in the basement for painting or something. So she's able to sort of hide under that because it's winter and this is an empty house. So it's freezing in here. And she's thinking about how President Snow's speech was to prove even the strongest among you are no match. And she's like, yeah, makes sense. The survivors of the games are the strongest. We got put into that place and came out, and he just wants to ensure that we know it's all an illusion. Any hope that we have that we can get out of this. Yeah.
The victors are the slim chance of escape, out of their lives of oppression and forced labor and poverty and starvation. And I love this part when she's lying there on the floor and she's thinking about how completely blindsided she is by this news, because she says, I never saw it coming, because why would I? And she's going over in her head the same shit that I was saying, which is part of the deal is that you survive this monstrosity, and that's supposed to mean you're safe. It doesn't guarantee safety for your family and your future children, but it does guarantee safety for you.
Yeah.
And that they just reneged on that in such a way is not just impacting Katniss, but it's to everybody. And it's the fact that the game makers and the Capitol would do this. I think that this is actually a move of desperation on their part, and it feels a little desperate. And I'm wondering if underneath the shock of this, the shock of them pulling this stunt, and the fear that it's going, that the Capitol hopes it inspires and reminds everybody, like he just says, reminds everybody that they can never overcome the power of the Capitol. I wonder if people will privately be like, this is low key desperate. It's giving. You know what I mean?
Yep,
I'm curious.
Scrambling for some saving face somehow. Yeah. That's interesting.
I'm curious if that will be a topic of conversation for anybody. But yeah, this is just terrible.
So she finally sits up and she's thinking the only friend I'll have to worry about killing will be either Peeta or Haymitch. And she sits up and is like, what the fuck? I'm never killing either one of them. There's just, it's not happening. One of them is coming in with me, but I know what the fuck is going to happen. Peeta is going to volunteer if they do wind up picking Haymitch. It's like a no-brainer. Of course he's going to fucking do that. I need to go to Haymitch and get him to say that he won't let him. And she gets there, and it turns out Peeta has already been there, and Haymitch is drunk. And Haymitch is basically like, so, are you here to be like, hey, please die instead of Peeta because I would rather he be alive? And she's like, yeah, no, yes. Like, just suddenly realizes what she was going to say.
Suddenly, she doesn't know how to make the words.
Yep.
And so she says in response, no, I'm here for a drink. And he's like, word? All right, here. I love when she first shows up. He's like, there she is, all tuckered out. Did you finally do the math? Did you finally understand what's happening here? But yeah, he's fucked up too. Like, and I don't mean like he's drunk. I mean like he's fucked up. Like nobody saw this coming.
No.
And it is just, I mean, I know I already said it, but it's so unfair.
She says, maybe it should be you. You hate life anyway. Very true. And since last time I tried to keep you alive, seems like I'm obligated to save the boy this time. And that's another good point. Peeta's argument is that since I chose you, now I owe him anything he wants. And what he wants is the chance to go in again to protect you.
Everybody saw this coming.
Yeah. She asks him, like, isn't it going to be hard for you because you've actually gotten to know the others? Oh, I think we can count on it being unbearable wherever I am.
This is when he tells her to her face that she could live 100 lifetimes and never deserve Peeta. Wowzers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she says, while I was wallowing around on the floor of the cellar, thinking only of myself, Peeta was here, thinking only of me. Shame isn't a strong enough word for what I feel.
It's rough, man. So she says, all right, here's the deal. When he and I go in, we're keeping him alive. Like you said, it's going to be bad no matter how you slice it. And whatever Peeta wants, it's his turn to be saved. We both owe him that. Besides, the Capitol hates me so much. I'm as good as dead now. He still might have a chance. Please, Haymitch, say you'll help me. All right, he says finally. Then she goes to see Gail, who's basically like, we should have fucking left. It's not too late. We still could. And she's like, yeah, it is.
Yeah, she goes home and Gail is at her house.
Right. That's
he's
right.
come to see her, which is huge because he's been like actively avoiding her.
Yeah.
And she hasn't talked to him in forever. And she was all worried about what he was going to feel when he watches the TV show and sees all her in the wedding dresses, not knowing that this was coming, this big announcement. So Gail has seen the news and comes rushing right to her house, which, you know, says a lot.
Yeah.
And she gets to the front door and he's there. And he just tells her, I was wrong. We should have gone when you tried to go, when you said, which we know would not have worked.
No,
right?
it wouldn't.
We all know that.
Yeah.
Her whole family is, you know, they're horrified.
In shambles. Yeah.
Yeah, in shambles.
And, you know, reminder everybody, throughout all of this, she's so drunk. Like she's having trouble standing up. She winds up in the midst of this conversation, just sort of sliding to the floor and drops the bottle.
Drops the bottle.
And when she wakes up, she's got this horrible hangover. And I just like, as somebody who does not hold liquor well and who once went through something that made me go to booze immediately because I was so upset when that's not what I normally do, the heaviness of that hangover haunts me still. You know, if it's just not something that's like your usual go-to and you do it and you're just not ready for it because your body just isn't used to it. Oh man, it is fucking miserable. So she wakes up and she is trying to shower. She's vomiting in the shower and like, the whole thing is too familiar. I hated it. She knows that her mom and Prim are coming in and she's going to try and put on a bit of a show about how like ironic this is or something. And she just loses it again and just starts crying.
Yeah. She's going to be strong again because that's supposed to be her role in this life, in this family. And she's trying to prep herself to do it, really thinking that she can, right? Because she's done it so many times. And they walk in and she opens her mouth to make a joke and just bursts into tears instead. And that, like, for me, resonated the way the fucking hangover thing did for you. Like, this whole thing right here, when you are planning to be the emotionally strong person for the people that you care about and love, and it's like you're used to that role and it's what you bring to the table and you know what the deal is, and then eventually you hit a point where you just are unable. You simply cannot, right? You can't even, as we used to say in the early 2010s.
That's the one.
Right? And being as shocked as everyone else that you simply cannot even. You're like if you could be outside your body looking at yourself, you're just like, oh, well, damn.
Yeah.
I guess I was tired. I didn't realize how tired I was.
There's something really startling about realizing that your limits have really nothing to do with like your conscious mind. That you can tell yourself, all right, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to feel X, Y. And you have no real control over that at all. Like you can, to a point, manage how much you show it and distract yourself, up to a point, but it's not like up to you in a lot of ways, which is what makes me so crazy when people try and be like, you decide how you feel. No. Oh my God, are you kidding? If we could do that, do you think, like, what do you mean? And
you can control how you react to somebody.
Yeah, and it's like, I can control my actions. I can't control my reactions. That's a different thing. And I just have had this happen a lot in the past few years, like 2 or 3 years, with the pandemic and with Owen going through like a lot of medical issues and with the puppies and being exhausted and overwhelmed with them, of just like really thinking that I'm going to be able to just talk about something with Owen. And I completely lose it in the middle of my first sentence. And I did not see it coming at all. I didn't even realize I was as upset as I turn out to be. It's like once I start to cry, I'm like, oh my God, I'm upset. Like I didn't know. It's really if we don't deal with our shit, it's coming out. Like ourselves do not have the capacity to hold that in for very long.
No, we're not built that way.
No.
And if you try to force it, like something is just going, you're going to break something. You're just going to, that's just how that works. But her mom and Prim give her space to do this. And they hold her and comfort her and just let her cry herself out.
Yeah.
Which is like, I'm not surprised, but it's nice because Katniss never gives herself the space to be the one that needs to be comforted in this way by her mom and sister.
Yeah.
Especially her mom,
That's the thing when you like refuse from somebody for so long and then finally you like are willing to let them in, but it's only because it's apocalyptic shit happening.
Yeah.
That's fucking too real. So they put her to bed, and when she wakes up again, it's clearly like afternoon. She's feeling embarrassed about everything, but tries to be like, I guess I'm a little entitled to have a fucking freak out. Which you're allowed to have a meltdown for a week or more, Katniss. I would be fine with that.
I'm so glad that, like, there's a small part of her that gives her grace to have what she calls one day of indulgence. But she says, I'm glad the cameras weren't here for it. And that was my first thought when she runs out. I was like, the cameras are gone, right? The cameras are gone, aren't they? Thank God.
Yeah. She goes downstairs and she's like looking around at them and the kind of taking in the situation. Looking at Prim's face, it's hard to imagine she's the same frail little girl I left behind on Reaping Day 9 months ago. The combination of that ordeal and all that followed, the cruelty in the district, the parade of the sick and wounded she often treats by herself now if my mother's hands are too full, these things have aged her years. She's grown quite a bit too. We're practically the same height now. But that isn't what makes her seem so much older. She gets a mug of broth from her mom and asks for a second one for Haymitch and goes across to speak with him and sit with him. And they're sipping, and then all of a sudden, Peeta comes downstairs and tosses a box of empty bottles down and tells Haymitch he has dumped all the liquor down the drain. And Peeta comes at them pretty hard here. Yeah,
he has decided that he's going to be he's the boss of them now. And what they're not going to do is wallow in self-pity and give up and admit defeat. What they're going to do is they're going to fucking train. They're going to strategize, and they're going to fucking win this thing. Yeah. That's what Peeta's on.
This is the sort of thing that I would do because action makes me feel so much better. So I am like, training, finding videos, watching, obsessing, basically. Yep, this is me. This is what I would do. I would just be all about the prep all the time. It would be very tedious.
Yeah.
And when Katniss is like, what business is it of yours what he does? It's completely my business. However it falls out, 2 of us are going to be in the arena again with the other as a mentor. We can't afford any drunkards on this team, especially not you. What? Last night's the only time I've ever been drunk. Yeah, and look at the shape you're in. I don't know what I expected from my first meeting with Peeta after the announcement. A few hugs and kisses. A little comfort, maybe? Not this. I turned to Haymitch. Don't worry, I'll get you more liquor. Then I'll turn you both in. Let you sober up in the stocks, said Peeta. What's the point to this? Asks Haymitch. The point is that 2 of us are coming home from the capital. 1 mentor and 1 victor. Effie is sending me recordings of all the living victors. We're going to watch their games and learn everything we can about how they fight. We're going to put on weight and get strong. We're going to start acting like careers, and one of us is going to be victor again, whether you 2 like it or not. He sweeps out of the room, slamming the front door. They basically are like, all right, well, I guess we're acting like careers because we want to keep Peeta alive, and going along with this is the best way, so sure.
It's, she's like, I don't like self-righteous people. It's just, what's the like? And they're like, he's thinking he's saving me and you, but really me and you are going to save him. Peeta has already decided he is not coming home. It's going to be Haymitch and Katniss that come home.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's so willing to sacrifice himself for her, for him. I don't know if there's anybody he won't sacrifice himself for at this point. I'm starting to wonder about Peeta, like if maybe he's just built this way.
Yeah. They start doing their thing. And they're looking at like all of these old games. We find out later though that they never watch Haymitch's games.
Yeah, and I had asked about that in one of the earlier episodes. Like we don't seem to know so little. They seem to know so little about Haymitch, and they never talk about it. And I think they even had a conversation about how he never talks about it. Why haven't they asked them? But we finally, a little bit later on, we finally get to see what the deal was for Haymitch's game, and that shit sounds bonkers,
right? Yeah, it does. We'll get there in a minute, but for now we're just going through and she's realizing like some people might be really old, which is like so pitiful, but also means that it's more likely they will be able to beat them, which is just heart-wrenching.
I like when I think you had started to say too that she realizes that she's never met any of the old victors, and she's looking back and she's like, that's weird.
Oh yeah.
How come I had never met them? And she asked Haymitch about it, and he says that the last thing President Snow would have wanted was to show her and Peeta bonding with other victors in potentially rebellious districts. And if like, say a Victor from District 8, you know, a dozen years ago, was seen palling around with Katniss, that might seem like implicit support
Yeah.
for the rebellion. And President Snow wants to avoid anything that even looks like that. So he kept her and Peeta isolated.
Makes sense.
Yeah, when you think back on it, it does, yeah.
Peeta and I excel under this new regimen, though. It gives me something to do. It gives us all something to do, besides accept defeat. My mother puts us on a special diet to gain weight. Prim treats our sore muscles. Madge sneaks us her father's capital newspapers. Predictions on who will be victor of the victors show us among the favorites. Even Gale steps into the picture on Sundays, although he's got no love for Peeta or Haymitch, and teaches us all he knows about snares. It's weird for me being in conversation with both Peeta and Gale, but they seem to have set aside whatever issues they have about me. I love this. One night as I'm walking Gale back into town, he even admits it would be better if he was easier to hate.
Yeah.
Tell me about it, I say. If I could have just hated him in the arena, we all wouldn't be in this mess now. He'd be dead, and I'd be a happy little Victor all by myself. And where would we be, Katniss? Asks Gale. I pause, not knowing what to say.
I mean, it's an interesting question. I feel like maybe this is not the time, Gale.
Oh, it sure isn't.
Right?
If fucking no.
But it is an interesting question. And I guess he's got to ask it because, you know, when we get another opportunity. But honestly, I'm just like, this is not what is important, sir. At this moment, this is not it.
Whereas he would probably be like, the only thing that's important.
Oh my God, he would.
Is love.
Gross.
Oh my God, guys could hear RoShawn's bile coming up. Oh man, that was amazing. Since I don't plan on making it back alive a second time, the sooner Gale lets me go, the better. I do plan on saying one or two things to him after the reaping when we're allowed an hour for goodbyes, but I never get the chance.
Yeah. That was a really unexpected turn.
That was so cruel.
Yeah.
New procedure, says Thread with a smile. We're ushered out the back door into a car and taken to the train station. There are no cameras on the platform, no crowd. Haymitch and Effie appear escorted by guards. Peacekeepers hurry us all onto the train and slam the door. The wheels begin to turn. And that's it.
Yep.
Yikes.
No big goodbyes. No town square showing up to meet you and wish you good luck. None of that. And she's just on the train looking out the window as she's, pulls away from home without getting to say any of the things to any of the people that she needed and wanted to say them to. Like, not even her family.
Yeah.
Never mind Gale. But, yeah, just unnecessarily cruel. But probably, not wanting to give any rebels any opportunity to have anything planned, to do anything,
True. Yeah.
But still.
Peeta suggests, as they're pulling away, we'll write them letters, which will actually probably be good for them to have something that they can literally hold on to of us. And she goes and sits down and is like, yeah, I'm never writing that. That's not happening.
Yeah. That's not her. That's not how she works. And she remembers that she had tried to write something for Rue and Thresh and was never able to get anything on paper. And then she says, besides, the words were meant to go with embraces and kisses and a stroke of hair, and a caress of a face, squeeze of a friend's hand. And it's just like these things I meant to say cannot be delivered in a wooden box containing my cold, stiff body. And just like, good God.
Yeah.
Too heartsick to cry. And I said, girl, yeah.
So they go have dinner. It's very subdued.
Yeah.
I love your new hair, Effie, Peeta says. Thank you. I had it especially done to match Katniss's pin. I was thinking we might get you a golden ankle band and maybe find Haymitch a gold bracelet or something so we could all look like a team.
God. She wants them all to be sporting this Mockingjay.
Because she does not understand what it means. Oh, the inadvertent rebellion. Effie. Effie, sweetie, baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but in a capital, it's still just a fun reminder of a great set of Hunger Games, you know?
Mm-hmm.
What else could it be? Real rebels don't put a secret symbol on something as durable as jewelry. They put it on a wafer of bread that can be eaten in a second if necessary. And it got me to thinking about, like, performative, you know, when we talk about, oh, you're not really, you know, you're just performative in your allyship or whatever we're accusing somebody of being.
Mm-hmm.
And how, you know, there's an idea that, you know, real ones, you know, are not out flapping their gums all the time about everything that they're doing,
Mm-hmm,
you know.
mm-hmm.
They're moving in silence, you know. What's it like, G's in lasagna?
Oh my God, I had no idea what you were talking about. You said like G's. I'm like gangsters? What? I don't feel like I think of gangsters as moving in silence. That's
real G's move in silence like lasagna.
I never heard that saying. That's amazing.
That's a fucking. I know it's a fucking Lil Wayne lyric, but I feel like somebody else has also used it. It might be more than one person that said it. But yeah,
that's amazing.
You never heard that?
No, never did. God, that's beautiful.
The MCs be MCing sometimes.
They do, though. And then there's ones that'll just say, like a parade, Macy's. And you're just like, that's not any, what? You're just saying a thing and then another thing.
Oh, that's good. That's good stuff.
I'm looking at you, Chris.
I'm sorry.
I think that's a great idea, says PETA. How about it, Hamish? Yeah, whatever. And I love this. He wants to be drinking, and Effie noticed what a struggle he was having with her having wine, and she has it removed.
Yeah.
I love that she is, like, considerate of that.
It's the only time I think we've ever heard or seen her be, like, considerate of somebody in, like, a human way. You know,
and a big part of me feels like it's not really a human way. It's her being like, he's my partner and he has to be able to fucking work. Kind of, you know, like I almost don't want to give her the credit of it, but I might be just being unkind.
Yeah, I had forgotten that he's kind of considered as a coworker for Effie during the games, right? So I really did just take it as like, oh shit. And not only did I take it like she was being human, but it made me wonder, like, does Effie secretly feel like bad for them, but she's not allowed to like she has like a little kernel of pity that she doesn't seem to ever really have with Tribute. She definitely didn't seem like it was an ounce of it the first time we met her on the train. But I was like, I wonder if she kind of has, like, I would say compassion, but it doesn't feel like it's quite that strong, right? But just like a little bit of like pity
awareness
that you would have for like an animal dying on the side of the road, but like not the kind of animal like a cat or a dog. Something that you just be like, oh, look at that possum, but you would absolutely keep driving.
Gotcha.
You wouldn't stop. You know what I mean? You're not stopping it for help, but you're just like, oh, that's a shame. You know what I mean? Like Jerry Seinfeld level of compassion.
Damn, cold. But I know what you're talking about, though. So they've been watching all of the other reapings, and it's really like, oh God, the whole thing is so tough.
Yeah, this is not. I mean, the reapings are in general terrible things, right? But this is just awful. and a lot of the tributes, well, they're not tributes, they're victors, are they're not in great shape.
No. Yeah, we've got, so I'm going to read this. I try to make a note of the other tributes, but like last year, only a few really stick in my head. The classically beautiful brother and sister from District 1 who were victors in consecutive years when I was little. Brutus, a volunteer from District 2, who must be at least 40 and apparently can't wait to get back in the arena. Finnick, the handsome bronze-haired guy from District 4, who was crowned 10 years ago at the age of 14. A hysterical young woman with flowing brown hair is also called from 4, but she's quickly replaced by a volunteer, an 80-year-old woman who needs a cane to walk to the stage. Then there's Joanna Mason, the only living female victor from 7, who won a few years back by pretending she was a weakling. The woman from 8, who Effie called Cecilia, looks about 30 and has to detach herself from the 3 kids who run up to cling to her. Chaff, a man from 11, who I know to be one of Haymitch's particular friends, is also in. They have like a whole book of all of the people that they've been like keeping track of and studying. And he's going through and marking their names and ripping out the people who are not selected. It's all very organized. And she goes to bed, has nightmares, wakes up and orders some warm milk. And then it's PETA that turns up. And it's so sweet. Like she, clearly was having a nightmare. He asks if she wants to talk about it, but doesn't press and just like lets her sit and be. I wrap my arms tightly around his neck before he can order me to do push-ups or something. Instead, he pulls me in close and buries his face in my hair. Warmth radiates from the spot where his lips just touch my neck, slowly spreading through the rest of me. This like moment, she's sort of like, well, if Gale never sees me again, which he won't, then it doesn't matter anymore what he feels about this. I can just keep hanging on and I don't have to feel guilty about it, which is a sort of interesting moment to me.
It's a very interesting moment to me as well. Part of me was just like, and how is PETA supposed to take that?
That just like, oh, now that this guy's off the menu, I'll take you as a consolation prize. Now
that I don't have to be concerned about his feelings, you'll do. And I'm not saying that's necessarily how PETA will take it, but I mean, it's something worth thinking about.
Yeah.
And the way she frames it is very much like I was holding myself in from acting on my feelings for PETA because I didn't want to hurt Gale's feelings, which is maybe what she's telling herself in retrospect, but that's not how it was happening in real time.
Not really, no.
So, we talk about Katniss and how in some ways she's very hyper self-aware. But then she's got these areas where I'm just like, I think I called her dense.
Yes.
Where you're just like, girl, what?
Yeah.
And for me, this was one of those moments where I was just like, ma'am, have you not been reading the same book that I've been reading?
The amount of times that I have gotten irritated for characters not reading the book, I can't even tell y'all.
What was interesting to you about this moment?
Just the fact that like, it's sort of the same thing as like what you said. It's maybe I can let myself feel this completely, but the sadness of where it's coming from, just the sense of like, it's too late for Gale. So that's just not an option anymore. And the choice being taken away from her. But this is like one of the only times where it seems like that's sort of a relief, the capital milk comes. I added a touch of honey to the milk for sweetness and a pinch of spice, he adds. He looks like he wants to say more, then gives his head a slight shake and backs out of the room.
What's that about?
Yeah. He's just,
I think people feel bad for them. Yeah. I think there is definitely a feeling of just, like I said, pity and just kind of like an unfairness to it. Like, and it's weird too, because I don't think people in the Capitol are accustomed to feeling anything like this for these people.
Yeah.
So I think they wouldn't know how to articulate it if somebody were to ask them. It's probably very, very disorienting. And they're just kind of like, what is this?
What is this salty discharge?
Yeah.
Talking about tears, you sickos.
But it took a second for that to land, but it was worth it. But yeah, this impulse to make the milk like a delicious treat for her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she didn't ask for all this; she just asked for some warm milk. But something compelled this attendant to be like, I want to jazz this up to make her feel better. I want to somehow make her feel better. Like, but why? I bet he'd be like, I don't know. Yeah.
So this is when she and PETA decide that they're going to watch Haymitch's games. And they feel really weird about it because he has clearly not wanted to revisit them. But they are dying of curiosity and they just think, well, we don't have to tell him that we saw them. So they watch and we get to see the moment where that girl Maisley is chosen and Katniss's mother is like hugging her and saying goodbye to her.
Yeah.
There's something about imagining seeing your parents on video at this age going through a thing that I feel like would be really, I don't even know the word for it, like the impact of that, you know? It's already strange to see photos of your parents young and realize like they used to be where I'm at. But seeing a whole like she only just found out this girl Maisley existed, you know, a whole part of their lives that is on video, which is something that like I think most of us don't have access to. Now we're going to be in a universe where it's so easy to film things that there will be video evidence of people as youth as well. But for most of us, that really wasn't around. So you only got still photos. And there's something about getting to see them in action really young that just seems like it would be so poignant, you know?
I agree. There's no video really of my parents when they were younger. But I know some people have like Super 8, you know, 70s footage, you know, of their parents and grandparents, but we don't have anything like that. But I can't imagine what it's going to be like for kids now. Like, I can't even imagine what that it would be like. I'm like doubly happy that A, there's not a lot of video of me, and B, I don't have kids. But yeah, and what we find out about her mom's friend is that because they're looking at her mom hugging this woman, and there's another girl next to her mom, and she looks like Maisley, but she looks even more like someone else, and it's Madge. It's Madge's mother. Which so that's something that Katniss had no idea about, that her friend, the mayor's daughter, had an aunt that went to the games and didn't come home.
Yeah.
Like, which I thought was wild, because how is that not, like, how does she not know that? And then it makes the fact that her mother has these headaches that, you know, and she's bedridden, like, it seems, like, I'm not saying that, you know, it just seems like, oh, that kind of makes sense. Like, maybe you don't recover from losing your sister in this way. You know, maybe that is.
And it's not just a sister, she's a twin.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I don't know twins personally, but I hear that there's a particular kind of bond that often comes with that. So, and Haymitch's name is called last of all. It's more of a shock to see him than my mother. Young, strong, hard to admit, but he was something of a looker. His hair dark and curly, those gray seam eyes bright, and even then, dangerous. Oh, PETA, you don't think he killed Maisley, do you? I burst out. I don't know why, but I can't stand the thought.
And we had talked about this.
With 48 players, I'd say the odds are against it, says PETA. So we get the chariot ride. We get the interview. They're wearing those
ridiculous outfits that we heard Senna talk about.
Oh, God. Agonizing. And, you know, in the interview, he's just like, The games are still fucking stupid, so I guess my odds are the same as ever because all of it's dumb as hell. And, just the usual kind of snark. Then it's the start of the games, one of the most beautiful places you can imagine. But it turns out it's all poisonous.
My God, if that is not like fucking metaphor for the Capitol. Mm-hmm.
It's really rough, like, because 18 tributes killed the first day. And then the rest that are surviving are eating the fruit, drinking the water, all of it poison. Mm-hmm. Only the rainwater and the food provided at the cornucopia are safe to consume. And
this is wild.
We've got carnivorous squirrels, butterfly stings that, if they don't kill you, are at least hideously painful. Then a fucking volcano.
I loved it at the beginning of the game. Like, when they show up, everybody is like dumbfounded by how beautiful it is. Mm-hmm. And Haymitch is like out the gate in a flash to the cornucopia, gets like the biggest sack with the best shit in it, and is gone. And he already has a plan in mind. Mm-hmm. And his plan is he is heading in a particular direction, and he's always moving away from the mountain towards, nobody seems to know what he's going towards, but he's fucking not being turned around by it.
Yeah.
He has a plan. But yeah, a fucking volcano happened.
I swear to God, that's so over the top, literally and figuratively. Oh. So eventually him and Maisley wind up teaming up. And she keeps asking him where they're going, and he won't answer her. Understandably, because like they would probably try to stop him if he made it really clear what he was attempting to do. Mm-hmm. And eventually he's like, it has to end somewhere. What do you expect to find? I don't know, but maybe there's something we can use. And they finally get to this like cliff's edge. And she's like, this is it. That's all there is. We got to head back. And he's like, no, I'm staying here. And they break their bond at this point, and their allyship is over.
I love this too, because when they break it up, she says, you know what, I don't want it to come down to just me and you, so this is a good time for us to split up anyway. Mm-hmm. Because if they stay paired up eventually and they survive, then only one can win. So I don't want it like that may still happen, but if we stay a pair, we guarantee it happens. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so they break off, but it's like all, there's no like hard feelings about it.
Very much so, yeah.
And he's just like, all right. And she goes her way, and he stays where he is along the edge of the cliff, trying to figure like what the fuck this all means and where he is and how he can use it.
And then there's a scream. And it turns out she has been attacked by some candy pink birds with long, thin beaks.
Right before she gets attacked, he realizes this thing about the edge.
Right.
A stone over, and it pops back up in the air. And he's like, what the fuck was that? So then he throws like a bigger one, and it does the same thing. And it's that, like, we as a reader recognize that it's that fucking force field thing. Mm-hmm. That's what's going on here. But yeah, so he's playing around with this thing at the edge. Like, how wild must that be? Like, real talk. Let's take a minute and think about this. You're standing on the edge of a fucking cliff, and you throw a rock over it, waiting for it to hit the ground so you can gauge like how high up you are or whatever. And instead, that shit just comes flying back up in the air.
I love it. It's like there's some little being down there going, you are not going to litter in my house. Please. Right? There is a receptacle in the corner. Take care of this.
And he's laughing, because it's just it's so wild. And that's what's so horrific about the next moment is while he's laughing at just like, look at this shit here. Mm-hmm. He hears her start to scream, and she's being murdered by what sound like flamingos.
It seems like they're small, but I don't know. And they have like long, thin beaks, but it didn't occur to me, like, it doesn't say that they're small. It just says the beak. So maybe they are sort of like that size. That hadn't even occurred to me. I was thinking of them flying around her, but they might be on foot.
It just, it doesn't say. Just candy pink, long, thin beaks. And that's really all it says about her.
Man.
About them, rather. But that's what, I mean, once you tell me it's a pink bird, like, where else is my brain going to go?
You know what I could see is like the Capitol selling stuffed animals based on the mutations of that particular game's year.
Oh, you know they did.
Oh,
you absolutely know those squirrels and these birds and those butterflies were like a rage.
Real merchandising opportunities here.
Mm-hmm. Better than Star Wars.
Ooh. Then another is killed later that day in combat. A third gets eaten by a pack of fluffy squirrels, leaving Haymitch and a girl from District 1. She's bigger than he is and just as fast. And they have this terrible fight where he's holding his fucking guts in. And eventually she chucks an axe at him and he just lets it go past him because he knows. And she's standing there wondering why he's grinning at her. And it comes flying back over and just buries itself in her head. And he wins.
Yeah.
Wild.
That's the way he wins the game. Just like kind of luck.
Yeah, and they're like both realizing that he kind of showed up the game makers and did something that they would not have predicted and would have been probably embarrassed by. And that, wow, we have a lot more in common with him than we knew. And Candace starts straight up cracking up. Like, she's just like, oh my God. And as they're laughing, Haymitch turns up. And she's worried he's going to be mad. But he's not mad. He's just drinking again. He's found a bottle of wine.
They turned it off completely. Or is it just like, because when he shows up, I guess he can hear them talking, really is what it is. He overhears the conversation.
I imagine that he was like standing there for the last like 10 minutes, but they were so engrossed. They haven't noticed him, you know? But that's just a complete like fan wank.
Yeah, that makes sense too, though. Yeah. But I love this too. I guess I should be upset that he's drinking again, but I'm preoccupied with something else. It occurs to her that she's been spending all this time thinking about who her competition is, without thinking about who her teammates are. And she starts, it says, I have a new kind of confidence is lighting up because I think I finally know who Haymitch is. And I'm beginning to know who I am. And I don't know.
Yeah.
It says, surely two people who have caused the Capitol so much trouble can think of a way to get Peeta home alive. She's starting to feel like they might pull this shit off. And I get nervous. I get nervous when people start feeling confident.
You guys don't know how true that shit was that she just said right there. She feels this way about herself more than anybody. The instant RoShawn starts to think maybe things are all right with her, she's like, why did I think that? Oh my God. I'm the jinx. Chapter 15, last of the three. We have to go back through the gauntlet of prep work from the team.
Oh my God, this is so exhausting. I know it's necessary, but there's something about it that it's getting to be really tiresome.
Oh yeah. I think that's the point.
Yeah, it's really effective.
And
oh yeah.
No, you go ahead.
I think it's the same thing. The fact that the crew is just like sobbing. They're inconsolable. And Katniss is just like, this has got to fucking stop. I cannot do this again.
At one point, she finally goes to see Cinna and she's like, if you start crying, I swear to fucking God. And she's just like, I'm the one that's going in to be fucking slaughtered. And now I have to sit here and pat your back and say it's going to be okay. Like, fuck you guys.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, I'll have a talk with them. Because they really were just, so absorbed with their own shit. And she even says, it turns out that they really have become attached. So some of it is like sincere, but also she is their ticket to
Mhm.
being important. You know, they get invited to big social things, like her wedding, for instance, because she exists and they are her stylist and she won. Without her, that all goes away.
Yeah.
And they go back to being nobodies.
Mhm.
And they're grieving that, really, as well.
Yeah.
Which is so gross.
So gross. And I always appreciate the reminders because I completely forget about like the cachet that it has on
Mhm.
their end. And so if she had not reminded me, I would have like seen it as purely them being sad about her, and that would not have entered my mind. So yeah, she goes to see Cinna, and he decides, all right, we're not doing this fucking girly shit anymore. So here we go.
Mhm.
I am, first of all, putting you into some really dramatic makeup. And the lips are purple. Her eyes are smoldering. He's done her cheekbones really sharp. And then she's wearing this jumpsuit and a crown of black metal. And the suit turns on and glows with the light of a burning ember.
Mhm.
Which sounds so cool.
Yeah, it really does. I bet, like I said, the first time when she's in a chariot, I bet that looked pretty amazing on screen.
Mm-hmm.
I bet that's really dope. I hope it did, at least, because if you fuck this up, then what is your point? This should look amazing on screen. I hope they pulled it off. I don't know if they did or not, but I hope they did.
And I love when he's like, so this time, no waving, no smiling. Look straight ahead as if the entire audience is beneath your notice. Finally, something I'll be good at, I say. And she's trying to be chill before this begins. And then this dude shows up.
Oh my God.
Finico Dare.
Dude, this guy. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, what do you think of this
fucking
dude?
miss Kato. What the fuck? Like, I do. Like, this is, ugh. No, thank you. No, thank you. So this guy is just the bee's knees, and he knows it. He won at 14, the youngest victor ever. He's incredibly good looking, according to everyone who's anyone. By every accepted measure and every metric, this guy is hot as fuck.
Yep.
And he knows it. And when he was competing, he got like the most expensive sponsored gifts in the history of the game. He got a trident when he's from like a fishing community. So it's like the perfect weapon for him.
Mm-hmm.
And since his career since winning has just been, I imagine, like Instagram model. You know, he's just banging every hot girl that exists. You know,
Yeah.
You know, he's just running through them like fucking water, and he comes sidling up to her. His outfit for the chariot is like a fishing net.
Yep.
That's bundled right around his crotch.
Yep.
And that's pretty much all he's wearing. And he comes sliding up talking about one a sugar cube. Sir, if you don't go on somewhere.
Oh my God. And I know, like, when she says, like, I can say that he is objectively just gorgeous, but he does nothing for me. And that is something I relate to heavily with 100%. A lot of stars. I'm just like, I don't see it.
I mean, I can see it like, oh yeah, I get it. Yeah, he's totally good looking. Does he do it for me? Not even a little bit.
Yeah. Honestly, this is how I am with the actor as well. He was just not.
Was he anybody famous?
You would know his face, I think, but I can't think what his name was. And just super not my type. He had a butt chin. And for me, that's always like just kind of like, nah. Yeah.
That's a deal breaker.
So, yeah, there's this like whole lascivious, and she says something about how like she couldn't afford a night with him. And he's like, oh, I don't take money anymore. Yeah. And she's like, so what do they pay you with? And he says, secrets. What secrets do you have, Katniss? And she's just like, Jesus.
Get out of here.
And when Peeta comes up later and is like, so what does he want? I turn and put my lips close to Peter's ear and drop my eyelids in imitation of Finnick. He offered me sugar and wanted to know all my secrets, I say in my best seductive voice. Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, when he sees Peter coming, he tells Katniss, I'm sorry you have to cancel your wedding. I know how devastating that must be for you.
Yeah. There's a real, like, I know what's going on with that.
Exactly. Like, I've already got some of your secrets. Yeah.
So they are, like, talking about whether or not we should hold hands for this one. And I love that, like, they think about it for a second and immediately just reach for each other. It was just so sweet. You guys, like, even setting aside any sort of romance, just feeling like that is a connection that you need right now, you know, and having it and it being unquestioned. You both are in the same place. I really liked it.
He asked her, Peter asked Katniss, do you think if we had not teamed up and only one of us had won, would we have ended up like these people? And he calls it the freak show. And Katniss says, yeah, probably, especially you.
Oh, God.
Oh, that really made me laugh.
You have a weakness for beautiful things and I don't. They would lure you into their capital ways and you'd be lost entirely. Having an eye for beauty isn't the same thing as weakness, Peter points out. Except possibly when it comes to you. Oh, Peter, just dropping these lines. She doesn't even address it.
Nope, she just lets that shit sit there.
Yep. So I love this part. Neither of us reacts. I simply fix my eyes on a point far in the distance and pretend there is no audience, no hysteria. I can't help catching glimpses of us on the huge screen along the route. And we are not just beautiful, we are dark and powerful. No, more. We star-crossed lovers from District 12 who have suffered so much and enjoyed so little the rewards of our victory do not seek the fans' favor, grace them with our smiles, or catch their kisses. We are unforgiving. And I love it. Getting to be myself at last. I love that.
Yeah, that's really good. That is really good. And it's the crowd seems to be like really eating this up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right. But I kind of almost wanted the crowd to just be like in shocked silence. You know, I wanted the crowd to feel like they were being indicted. You know, I wanted the crowd to feel bad.
Nope, you're expecting too much, ma'am.
But yeah.
And even all the other, like, the tributes are just staring at them, and she's just
I
like,
love
yeah,
this bit too. People are totally Jack Senna's ideas. Everybody's on fire now. They're like cows on fire.
She's like, are they broiling themselves? What the fuck is this? Oh God. So she meets the two from 11, Chaff and Cedar, and she comes straight over and hugs Katniss. And Katniss whispers, the families, they're alive, she says softly before letting me go. Chaff throws his good arm around me and gives me a big kiss right on the mouth. I jerk back, startled, while he and Haymitch guffaw. All right, I guess. I don't like it.
Yeah, Peter has a theory about what's going on later on but
what do you think of it?
I didn't love it.
Yeah. I can understand just kind of wanting to like tease her a little bit, but it just really feels like, can't we be all on the same side here, guys? Why do we got to be teasing anybody? How about we just don't do it because we all don't want to like be here or die?
Yeah.
Could we just all be cool?
This woman that shows up dressed like a tree.
Oh my God. That's really funny.
This is the woman who won because she just convinced everybody that she was such a weakling and no threat at all that people just ignored her.
Yeah, Joanna.
Meanwhile, she was just going around murdering people, you know, and then slinking away. she rolls up, she takes all her clothes off. Like, again, like trying to, like, I guess, shock Katniss maybe, or make her uncomfortable. But to what end? Like,
it's almost like hazing. You know, like she's a victor now, like one of us, and now we gotta like.
But so is Peter, and no one seems to have take any enjoyment out of making him uncomfortable.
Because he's just too cinnamon roll to do it to.
Yeah.
You know, like whenever there's a pair, there's always one person who gets it more than the other.
Yeah.
You know, one person that everybody zeroes in on.
That's true. Well, they've definitely zeroed in on her because it seems like everybody is taking a shot.
Her just standing there talking with him while she's buck-ass naked. Oh my God. It's like when you wouldn't look at me naked in the arena even though I was half dead. You're so pure. I am not. I've been practically ripping your clothes off every time there's been a camera. Yeah, but I mean, for the Capitol, you're pure. They're just teasing you. No, they're laughing at me. And so are you. No. Peter shakes his head, but he's still suppressing a smile. They're joined here with the elevator opens. Haymitch and Effie join us, looking pleased about something. Then Haymitch's face grows hard. And Effie says, looks like they've got you a matched set this year. It turns out she's saying this about people. Yeah. And it's the
I was so confused. I had no idea what she was talking about.
Yeah. There's the redheaded A-box girl that was here last time. And then there's another new redhead. And he used to be their head peacekeeper. Yeah. So you had wondered what happened to him.
He's not the head. The head peacekeeper was Cray, the drunk guy.
Right.
This is Darius, the guy who had tried to intervene.
Right.
And was like lying unconscious. Like, we never see Cray again. We never even see Cray's body when Thread shows up. But we see Darius like laid unconscious on the ground. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, you know, it feels very purposeful. They're going to make sure Katniss sees him. Mm-hmm. It's all head games, man.
Yeah. You know, and it's almost like the way everybody wants to like make sure they get a minute with Katniss to upset her or get in her head or whatever this hazing or whatever it is. It feels almost like it's orchestrated. And I'm starting to wonder if maybe people got like a little note
to fuck with her.
Little, yeah, like a little extra incentive. You know, if you can get in her head, if you can get her off her game, you know, maybe you'll get extra fucking something. I don't know.
Right? Yeah.
Extra help in the game, extra consideration, something.
That's interesting.
Because the way everybody has made a beeline to her, coupled with all the shit that the Capitol was doing. One, making the games be about bringing victors back, making it so that they can't say goodbye to their families, which, to be fair, I don't even know if that happened in every district. That may have only happened in hers. I don't know if that's how it went down every district.
That's true.
The train that she takes to the Capitol, does that train go and pick up everybody?
No.
Right? So, you know, I don't know how much of everything that's happening is happening specifically to her and Peeta, and how much is also happening to these other tribute victors that are involved. And I wouldn't put it past any of them to take any kind of deal or assistance that they might be offering. Because, you know, also, if you even let it, like, the Capitol is in a weird position where, like I said earlier, this can read as desperate.
Yeah.
Right? So they want to be really careful about acknowledging that any of this is in reaction to what Katniss has incited. But at the same time, you know, there's ways to get information out to people to let it like trickle down.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what these people have been told. You know, I don't know what kind of promises maybe were made. I'm just not taking anything off the table. And I don't trust none of these people. And it's funny because I was hoping that there would be some sort of you know, I want to almost say unionizing
Mm-hmm.
activity, you know, like I was hoping that they would, but this energy that they're bringing, at least at the beginning, I'm hoping it changes. I am not, I don't know. I hope it changes. I hope that I don't want to say that
We
all
went
of them,
through this already with the last one where you were so sure everybody was
you
going
know,
to like team up and be buds and fight the
you
system.
know, because I still want that to happen. I
Mhm.
still ultimately that is what I'd like to see in the world. So I can't help but want that. But I don't know, man. Maybe that's the thing that, like, now that we're back here at the arena, I'm remembering what this does to people and how that shit really worked out in the first book, and it's not looking good for my desires. You know, it is not looking good for me. Yeah. Damn.
Well, who knows?
Yeah. Well, you know.
Listen, you know what I mean when I say that.
I know. I
You
can't
said
help
it.
myself. I can't help it. Trying to pretend like you don't know what's going on. Like we're in this together, ma'am. We're not in this together.
Well, who knows? You do is going on the unspoiled bingo card now. So, do you have any predictions? Like, this is what you would like. This is your wish list you just shared.
Yeah.
But do you have any real predictions?
I don't. I was so caught unawares at how quickly this moved that I really feel like I've been thrown for a loop. I'm not sure. The games are going to start the next day, I guess, the next morning. I can't remember how much time there is between the chariot and the actual launch pad, but I remember it's like pretty quick.
They have the interviews with Flickerman to do still.
Oh. That's interesting. I wonder what, I guess they have to continue to play, you know, Star-Crossed Lovers.
Mm-hmm.
But they were so cold on the chariot. I wonder what Senna will have them do for the interview. I wonder if can you refuse the interview? Has anyone ever done that?
I don't think so. I think the closest is what Thresh did, which is just refusing to answer any questions.
Well, maybe they should try to pull that. They should just refuse to play the game. They're above it all. We're not answering any of your silly questions. I don't know. No, but I'm really very curious about what Senna's going to coach them to do. Because I don't know. I don't know. I got no predictions this time, guys. I'm sorry.
And it's like last time, Senna coached them on how to behave on the chariot, but the interview was Haymitch that went through it and tried to like make Katniss more likable. So it may not be him this time.
Oh, I wonder. Well, I mean, I still stand though. Like, I don't know what the strategy is going to be for the interview. I don't know what Haymitch is going to recommend. I mean, will he just continue with his original plan? Just play it up? Because, you know what's funny? Hey, Peeta and Katniss are a couple as far as everybody is concerned.
Sure. And
this game is only the one person coming home, right? So we know that it's like they have decided it's going to be Peeta that comes home. But every person that's watching is going to be watching what they believe is a couple in love knowing for certain that one of them is going to die. Who would want to watch that? What kind of person watches that?
I mean,
that is ugh. Ugh, like
you said, you know what's funny? This isn't funny, RoShawn.
Well, it's not funny. You're right. I'm sorry, but it's just like the reality of it just like really sunk in this moment that these people really think that these two are about to get married and have a life together because they're madly in love, and all these other tributes are being forced to come back to the game and play, but none of them are being forced to come back and play with their spouses or their partners,
right?
You know. And I don't know. It's so fucking. Ugh, I don't even have the words for it. It's so gross. It is so gross, and it's making me think of the type of some of the entertainment that I consume. You know,
Yeah.
Especially around reality television, and how the best reality TV is always people at their worst.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and oh God,
Yeah. Yeah, it's there's almost something that comes to mind thinking about this is I don't remember if it was like the first or second season of The Circle. There was that British girl, it's a gold feather, who thought this guy was for real, but really this woman was she was catfishing as her husband, her own husband, because her own husband is very, very fine and charming. And she was so convincing that this poor British girl fell in love with her, thinking that she was this dude. And so you're watching as this like comes to a head. There's eventually a point in the show where everyone's unmasked and they are revealed to each other at a dinner, like a formal get together. I had this like really kind of gross excitement about seeing how she would react to the heartbreaking fact that the dude she had started to really think she had feelings for was not real, or was not there at least, and was married already.
It's not real. Yeah, the thing that the relationship she thought she was building was completely a fabrication.
Yep,
like 100%, all of it.
And that's a pretty like mean-spirited entertainment, you know?
Yeah,
in a lot of ways.
It's yeah, and it's done like, you know, we had the person who was catfishing, you know, feeling really bad about it the whole time, but not changing any of the
Where are
behavior.
you going over here?
Sorry, scooting around.
You're just like, and you
I'm running back and forth in front of my mic. Hello. And then I said,
oh man.
But yeah, so you know, maybe now I'm rethinking my viewing habits. I'll just the television.
So sorry. And like in terms of like how they play it with the interview, part of the point of the interview is to make yourself as appealing as possible to sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that continuing with the above it all would be the way?
You know, I have a question. I'm assuming because as a victor, your fruit, as it were, only belong to you. You know, the to the victor belong the
spoils.
Sorry, spoils.
Oh
God damn
God.
it. Either way, my point is, it's not like her mom and Prim can access her bank account and send her whatever she needs. I'm assuming that is off the table, right?
Right.
So she's just as poor as she always was.
I'm assuming. I actually don't know. So.
I thought about that, like, because all of these are victors, so they all have plenty of money back at home.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm assuming no one can access that money to help them in the arena. But I don't know if that's true. I was going to ask about it, but I had forgotten.
I don't know. That's a good question.
So if that's not the case, because
and like they say they have plenty of money, but they have plenty of money for the districts. We don't know what the prices are.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like me feeling very comfortable and suddenly having a lot of money. All I would need to feel really wealthy would be like $100,000 a year, and to actual rich people, that's laughable.
Nothing.
Like, yeah,
that's true too, right? My God, that would change my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Half that money would change my whole life. Fuck.
Yep.
How fucking sad is that?
I think about that constantly. Like literally every day. It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
Somebody just like gives me like 10 grand and that's like a complete change of all circumstance.
It doesn't take that much,
no.
Right? Yeah. They had that insane fucking Powerball. Somebody finally won it.
How much was it?
$840 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
What do you do? Like,
oh my, I cannot imagine what my life would feel like.
I think I'd kind of panic. Like, not to say, I wouldn't want it, but that is that amount just isn't comprehensible to me.
Would give so much money away. It would be fucking ridiculous. I would give so much money away.
Yep.
I would just give it away. Mm-hmm. Like everybody I've ever known would suddenly have like $5 million. And
that's the thing. Like you could literally do that.
You could do it. You could. What would it hurt? Because you're gonna. I think they said that the that we were talking about off mic. The people, if they opt for it, they would take home like 400 and something million, and then you got to pay like a shit ton of taxes. So maybe when all said and done, you've got like 250. That's still $250 million.
Wait, so like they only get 20% of the total?
Well, it used to be, and again, I don't know if this is true nowadays, but it used to be you have the jackpot. If you take the sort of installment payouts, right, where they pay you so much money, so often, then you get the full amount. But the thing is, if you die, it used to be you couldn't bequeath that to somebody else. Right.
Okay.
So you take the cash payout. The cash payout used to be 50% of the total jackpot. So that takes the 840 down to 4 something, right? So then you're getting paid for $450 million, but you got to pay taxes on that. And the tax rate on that kind of money, that type of money, that kind of income, it's not income, but whatever they call it, is probably in the 25 to 30% range. So you got to figure by the time all of that's said and done, what you're walking away with is probably around the 250 mark. I could be wildly wrong on everything I just said. Because but I'm just going by what I've always heard how it works. You pay out, it's only half, and you got to pay taxes on it.
Nevertheless, you're still winding with an insane amount of money.
Still an insane amount of money, and even $250 million, I'm still giving $5 million to everybody that matters because that's still only going to be like $100 million.
Yep. Set up some trust funds just for like friends.
Yep. And I only made it a handful of episodes because it was so depressing, but they used to have that another reality show about people in pain, is the people who win these crazy jackpots and then go broke.
Oh God.
Yeah, it used to be a reality show because there were so many stories.
This
is also
awful.
Right. But I don't think this was in like the early 2000s. I don't know how long it ran, if it's still running. But I don't think we were doing like the mega millions yet. So I don't think people were winning $840 million yet. But they were winning like, $15 million. But then you cut that in half and then tax that and you're coming home with like $6 million.
Right.
And yeah, you can have $6 million and then go broke.
Oh yeah, I could see that happening to me very easily, in fact.
So I don't think that's the problem it used to be.
Yeah, it's there was a really awful episode like on the Snapped podcast. They occasionally will have episodes off topic that are like kind of promos for other real crime shows, true crime shows that they do.
Oh, mm-hmm.
And they did one the show is called Buried in the Backyard because that's such a common thing. You can literally have a show that's just titled that, and that's what all the murders are. And it was a guy who had won the lottery, and this poor dude, he was like illiterate and had just had like real bottom tier jobs that did not require reading, and he fucking struck it and won millions of dollars. But all of these people came out of the woodwork and he did not know enough about how to protect himself. And so he got this like partner to help him. And she basically wrote into all of his stuff that she was getting the money, and he didn't know. And he signed it all away.
Oh,
and then she murdered him.
no.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It was really awful. And by the time he died, you know, he hardly even had any money left, which was part of why she finally killed him.
Shit.
Because he was continuing, he gave a lot of his money away. And she basically got spooked that he was just going to completely bankrupt himself. And then what would she do?
God damn.
Yeah, it was cold-blooded.
Maybe I don't want to win the Mega Got me rethinking some shit.
Yeah, so anyway, speaking of being a millionaire, let's say hi to our new patrons this time,
Hooray!
shall we? Yay! All right, so this time around, what do we got? We got Lucas. Ooh, I'm so sorry, Lucas. I'm going to do my best with your last name. Buisareth. I hope I'm saying that right. Lucas Buisareth. Welcome, Lucas. Thank you so much. Lauren Jones Wagner. Hey, Lauren. Thank you. Thank you so much. And Emmy, appreciate you. Hey. And last one is Charles Massa. Welcome, Charles. Thank you guys so much to all of you. Yay.
Oh. Get the music. Get the anthem. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining us and supporting us. We appreciate it. I still don't know about playing that.
Yeah, you know, it's got its mixed sort of... I could do...
There you go.
So spooky. There's something really like haunting about it.
Eerie.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys so much for supporting the show, pledging. And those of you out there who are wanting to support us, you can go to patreon.com/unspoiled. You can also become a free patron just for the updates and information about, like, you know, if there's scheduling changes and new events and stuff. RoShawn's birthday is coming up in February, and we're going to do a live listen to the Renaissance album with Miles, who has never heard it before. So it's going to be basically like a reaction video, and we're very excited about it. And just little things like that coming down the pike, that the start of new series as well, all of that. It's just easier to follow us there than on social media, where you may or may not see whatever information it is I am trying to share. So yeah, do that. And of course, there's the Sookie Stackhouse patrons only show. And I'm also going to be changing up what I'm doing for Unsober. So up to now, RoShawn and I were recording twice a month. But RoShawn's going through a lot of like schedule changes and life changes. And we decided that I also have like a whole bunch of friends and other co-hosts that I don't get to record with at all anymore. So we're going to be pulling back and doing one a month Unsober with RoShawn, and then the other with one of my other co-hosts. And that way,
I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, that way we get a chance to like involve other people, keep things a little bit more fresh. RoShawn gets a bit of a break, and I just think that this will be a nice change. And I hope that everybody out there is looking forward to it, because I think it'll be really fun. So
yeah, I think people are excited to hear from some old favorites.
Yeah.
And I will be getting a break, but I may pop up in the chat just to watch, like, because I enjoy watching you guys as well, like listeners do. You know, I'm also a listener, and sometimes I get tired of me. I want to see what other people got going on.
This is like just for men. I'm also a client. I'm not only a co-host, I'm also a listener. And yeah, it looks like Bitches, aka Chris, is going to be with me for the first one of the year. We haven't picked our topic yet, so I'll keep y'all tuned on that. But I think this will be really good. And there's also the start of the Witchy Book Club. And that is something that I'm particularly excited about. I'm going to try and do it on the third Saturday of the month, as much as that's possible to do. So it's going to be on the 20th of January at 6 p.m. Central Time on the Discord. There is a Coven meeting channel on there, and that's the voice channel that we'll meet on. And we're going to be reading The Green Witch. And I just realized that I don't actually know what the author's name is. So let me go look that up really quickly. Anne Marie, oh man, I'm looking at the cover, but it's in Kindle and it's so small that I can't make out what her name is. But we're going to be reading this, and it's just about like witchcraft in terms of plants and herbs and like gardening and that kind of approach. Erin Murphy Hissock is the name of the author. So that's going to be what we talk about. I've started the book already. I'm feeling like kind of mixed about it so far, but that's what the whole thing is about. You know, we're not going to like every book that we choose to cover. There's things that you will want to hold on to and some stuff that you just don't really vibe with, and that's fine. And it's sort of interesting to see what some folks connect to that others don't. There's a thread in the, that witchy channel where we're talking about the book as we read it, and the exact thing that certain people like is what other people don't. And that's just how that goes. You know, that's the nature of it. And that's what's interesting. So if anybody's interested in that, come on to the Discord. I'm trying to include the link to the Discord in all the show notes every time. So you can join there. And if you have trouble with it, just get in touch with me or with either Candace or Alex Irwin on the channels, and you can DM us and we can attempt to figure it out. If you're a patron, the easiest way is to just like connect your Patreon with it. And if you're having trouble and it's been connected, disconnect and retry, because that tends to work like 95% of the time. So that's everything. Thank you guys again so much for listening. I really hope you're enjoying this coverage. It's been so much fun. I'm really excited. RoShawn is not prepared at all. Until next time, toodaloo, motherfuckers.
Bye, guys.
Are you coming to the tree where dead man called out for his love to flee? Strange things did happen here, no stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree.
That was an Unspoiled Network podcast.